Spending the weekend with Zero gave me just enough confidence to go to school on Monday. I was genuinely considering skipping out for a few days with how volatile Junko had become, but I want to stand by Zero and have faith the staff will do something if anything starts again. But delaying that all a little bit, I was basically out of food and stopped by the konbini before school, finding 50 yen on my way in. Luckily the first two people I saw once I came through the doors were Zero, to my absolute delight of course, and Emika. Good morning, have you seen her yet?
No, I haven't.
Have you seen Junko this morning, Emika?
Emika hasn't.
Right. We're actually good then.
So the three of us all stood around happily talking and light-heartedly complaining. We were in a pretty popular area. I'm pretty sure all the teachers saw us within like 20 minutes. But because of all the people I was a bit blindsided when the doors opened again and I heard Junko's voice.
Go stare at the sun, Itona. I heard it's good for you.
She walked right past, shoulder-checking me, but I'd take that over the fights that happened last week. Tetsui joined us, which helped settling things for the time we had before she was back again. I was a bit more prepared this time because I was always looking over my shoulder, but that didn't make it any less scary. A teacher popped up, so I'd guess that's why she just threw an insult and kept walking, but it felt like she was taunting us. Quyen joined, then like clockwork Junko was back. She complimented Quyen, which was nice, but followed it up with an insult to Zero, which caught the eyes of some teachers. They didn't stay for long, so of course Junko went back to being horrible, picking a fight with Tetsui too. I just sorta shook my head and tried to move a bit away, continuing my conversation with Emika. No one else walked away though, so I stepped back in when the shoving started. I didn't really do anything because like with the insults, a teacher was looming around. The last incident for the morning was when Aya came over, while everyone was greeting them. Zero shoved Junko for trying to take something from her pocket. He didn't get anything before being shoved luckily, so everyone just smoothed past it to go to class. As soon as we could get up from our seats there was tension again, not just because of Junko, but Kei seems to have some problem with Hiroyuki. I didn't try to understand and just moved away, but because of my big goal of being popular, everyone still really wanted to be around me. Even with the current problems I do still want a lot of friends, but I just can't handle these big groups where no one can put their friggin' feelings aside. I tried to just stick by Ren's side, but he just wanted to be alone, so I took refuge in the girls' change room. Not that that'd keep Junko, but people don't really congregate in there. Daichi and Hiroyuki did follow me in, only to talk about manga to cheer me up though. It was really sweet if not a little late because the bell went really soon after. It was a little breather to help me through maths though, which even though I was left alone, I could hear Junko bugging Kei through the whole class. I couldn't really blame him when he ended up shoving them away. It just diverted Junko to Zero though. It was break, so I tried to call for Zero to just follow me and get away, but she was fed up and didn't want to. So I sat with Hiroyuki at the back of the class and he brought up manga again. It sorta devolved into a more perverted conversation, and I didn't feel like he was being weird about my job, but I was still worried with Junko being so close. With Emika joining in I got even more worried.
Emika couldn't work at a place like Soapland. Emika isn't one to serve others.
Hey, I get your meaning. You're the clientele then.
Yes, but Emika doesn't want to pay for others to do that.
There's probably guys out there who'll pay to wash you.
Maybe that's an alternative avenue for you.
In the stairwell leading to the next class, I whispered to Zero that I loved her and she huffed off in the dismissive, flustered way she's recently been known to do. I giggled about it, but everyone was really starting to hit me harder. I pushed through the thoughts of just going home, which were made extra hard by gym class, and bided my time until I could talk to Emika and Hiroyuki again. It felt like I was remaking a friend group like I had 2 weeks ago, before all the drama, which was nice, but also made me feel sorta bad. Especially when Tetsui came over, not fully by his own choice since Junko was shoving him. They kept berating him while we all tried to keep talking and calming down the situation, but she started attacking me too. She was flustered though, so this time I protected myself. That's it. I'm going to class. I'm so sick of her. She was so rude when we first met. I should have taken that as a sign. Teary-eyed and weirdly determined, I rounded back and tried to kick her in the leg. He just shoved me over and walked away. Everyone did besides Ren. Are you okay?
Me? Yeah, I'm okay. Why?
You've had a hard time in gym before.
Oh, yeah, I think you're having it worse.
Yeah. She's just mean. I don't know why.
I see that. They're really nice to me, but I don't know why either.
Ren went up off to the library as I tried to convince myself to go to class. Instead, I was just sitting on the stairs eating a sandwich and chocolate cake. I tried focusing on the good things. The cake was really yummy. It's only Junko who doesn't like me, and right now, out in the hallway, it's peaceful. I lingered around the nurse's office for half the class before biting the bullet and going up. Luckily, I got to work with Zero a little bit on some of the classwork, awkwardly obviously because of the big gap between desks. I couldn't bring myself to stay around after the bell and skated home. My body was starting to hurt from the recent fighting, so I tried to do what Zero would probably do and pulled up a workout routine. I just ended up on the floor for 15 minutes. Junko's just one problem, maybe my only problem, but it's such a big hurdle, and laying on the floor looking at the ceiling really showed exactly how I felt. I pulled my manga pile over to me and spent 2 more hours on the floor, but instead of thinking, I was doing something that made me happy. Reading eventually gave me the strength to have a shower, and while I was getting dressed I was reminded I wasn't banned anymore and distracted myself with online multiplayer games into the night. I usually do well enough at self-care, but I woke up around 10, way past my alarm, and even though being late is better than not at all, I couldn't bring myself to go to school. I do feel bad having a sick day after only 2 weeks of school, but I think the highs and lows have just been so friggin' drastic that it was really wearing me out. I didn't get dressed, I just watched videos and ate my brunch. The no curtains on the windows did stick out to me, but everyone should be at school or work anyway, so I didn't worry about it. At noon I switched from mindlessly scrolling to playing my favorite online multiplayer game, one where I got to do a lot of collaboration with people. It was giving me that sweet community feeling again. Past 2, I gave the worksheets online a look over. I didn't really complete any of them, but I tried committing them to memory for tomorrow's classes. Then, as a reward, I played more games. I ended up spreading my time over 3, but still I think I went pretty overboard with it. I was up until midnight and I had to really quickly take a shower and eat before I crashed. I checked my phone right before bed and noticed I hadn't got any messages. I guess I don't normally. On Wednesday, I woke up to my alarm in a sorta blurry haze. I ate, even having some chocolate cake to motivate myself, then sat down to play a solo game before I got dressed. I didn't really rationalize it as helping me get my day started, so I can't really explain why I thought it was a good idea. Anyway, I finished it with time to spare, and instead of getting dressed I started a new game. I finished it right as the bell for the first class rung. I sorta just looked out my window, looked at myself in my underwear, and thought, I don't want to go there, before doing another round of the game. I feel awful leaving Zero to put up with Junko, but I also sort of have a theory that I'm making it worse, like she hates Zero for her profession, but she hates me for liking Zero despite it, which I think makes him even more angry. So maybe selfishly, or misguidedly, I hoped staying home was helping Zero. But at noon, after 3 volumes of manga, I got dressed and decided to message Zero, just to be transparent. Hi Zero, sorry for not being in again today. I've been really exhausted by the Junko situation and am kind of scared to go. I hope today's okay. There, love you. I went out to the balcony to look at the school and wait for her response, but didn't really give her that much time. Obviously I kept my phone on me, but I decided to actually go for a walk. I didn't get to have a proper look around the town when I first moved in, so I've only been getting familiar with the shops around work, my dorm and the school. I found a stream and a cute bench tucked away. Because this is a tertiary school, I kinda expected the spot to have a bunch of party junk littered around, but it was actually really clean and calming. That blurry haze started to lift after relaxing there for an hour. I found a random chair. It probably belonged to the house behind it, but it was just a little too far away. I saw a car with a cute paw print heart on the bonnet, and went into the cosplay shop, where I saw they had a sailor set of the girl's uniform that wasn't online where I got my stuff. I know Aya's worn this set, so I got one for myself. Up the back of the town I found this open McMansion type place that had signs saying people could look around. It was sorta friggin' creepy though. The backyard gave me a bad feeling. It reminded me of the weird things Tetsui and Junko say. After I found some sorta occult shop which sent me heading back to my side of town. I'm pretty glad about how far those places are. I don't think I'd sleep if they were outside my curtainless window. After I checked out the grocery store, not really seriously because the konbini is always better, but I knew there'd be people there. And before the final bell rung I was back home. I sorta just lazed around watching videos, in a slightly more accomplished way from my walk, until I knew Zero would be out of the school. She hadn't responded to me just yet, so I messaged her again. I didn't want her to get home before seeing it, so I didn't wait too long to try a third time. Still nothing. I watched an episode of anime before trying a fourth time, nothing, left on read. So to the online games I went. I planned to just spend the late evening hours at my desk again, but once it was getting to sunset I heard some shuffling outside, a light tap on my door, some pacing around the stairs, just weird friggin' sounds. So I bundled up all my confidence and opened the door quickly, planning to spook any weirdo, honestly lightheartedly kind of thinking it was Kay, but who I spooked was Zero and she quickly started going down the stairs. Hey, whoa wait. Zero, what are you doing here so late?
I was actually just leaving.
Only because I opened the door, stop it, wait for me.
Ugh. Fucking fine.
Don't act weird, what's going on?
Nothing, actually. But people will probably think something as if you don't keep quiet.
How was school?
It actually sucked. They're all fucking Puritans.
Not everyone.
Not everyone. Are you okay? I thought your thing was popularity.
Having friends. But,
Yeah.
I mean being home has been just fine, but going to school.
I know.
She pulled me close and we kissed. It was really romantic, at least in my book, under a stairwell, with the just risen moon lighting us up. Between teasing each other we actually had some serious reflections about our days. She didn't talk much about Junko, but our mutual friends are doing okay. Everyone else she's having some separate issues with, that I think just come from her strong personality. I convinced her to come inside and we shared a slice of chocolate cake together, before, you know. Afterwards I was drifting off to sleep. When she got up and whispered she was going home, I got a brief glance at the time, but I can't remember if it was 11, 12, or 1 a.m. I fell back asleep once I heard the door click shut, thinking a lot about that chocolate cake. Waking up I just had to eat the last slice of cake. I basically woke up starving for it. Worried about the hygiene of it all, I didn't do it in the way my dream told me to, but you know. I scrolled some videos, then stared stretching to put off my body getting sore, and got spooked by the first bell, completely forgetting that going to school was actually an option. I had Zero's reassurance that I could take time away if that's what made me feel safer, and had just sorta ran with that. I knew it was supposed to be PE right now, so I just set up some fitness videos and kept going, and refrained from sending Zero any pictures, even if she'd probably be proud. After that hour I went and actually compared the konbini to the grocery store. Konbini first, where I took photos of the stuff I'd normally buy, then the grocery store where I compared my pictures. It was a pretty obvious win for the konbini, where I did my shop for hopefully at least 5 days. Then the rest of my day was eating those groceries and playing online games. I was in my baggy commuting to work clothes, so I felt like some sort of stereotypical NEET. At 7:30 I heard weird movement again, weirder than last time though, so I opened my door more cautiously, making me miss her at first because she was already going down the stairs. Arg, Itona, we can't keep meeting like this.
It's all actually bullshit, you know.
What?
Ghosts, cards, curses, it's all bullshit.
Oh my gosh, let's not talk about that stuff out here, it's dark.
The only fucking thing that shithead Shinzo actually goes on about.
What's going on with you and Osamu? She's been complaining about him on and off for a while, but I get her to calm down. He's not the one who's been hurting us after all. As much as I hate it, we pushed through talking about the occult stuff. It was something about a curse and purity that made me sick, but we both established we don't believe in any of that stuff, so it doesn't matter, even if it's annoying to hear about. We sat on the stairs together talking about our days. She tried her best to stay subdued, especially since it's night, so for that I gave her some kisses, but we were sort of in our own secluded area, so it got a bit more full on. We knew when to stop though. We were outside and our bully is solely our bully based on sex.
So,
Instead, we went up to my dorm. We had to put a pause on it once getting through the door though because I hadn't eaten anything. But after that we were home free. We laid around for an hour, just being in each other's presence. Before having a shower together, I asked her to come back to bed, but she said she planned to make the full week of school. I think weirdly enough Zero bringing up Osamu yesterday merged weirdly in my head. I was trying to push that dream aside while I got dressed and was thankfully given a distraction by a knock on the door.
Hey, I was wondering if you actually wanted to have breakfast together.
aww.
I'd love to. We went and stood out on the balcony. each eating a salmon on a jirai each. I wanna say sorry again for not being at school all week.
It's fine, Fumi, you're actually just fucking protecting yourself, I get it.
Thanks. I think I'll be ready to go back next week. Online school is just way too friggin' hard for me, and I want that community, you know.
I know, that was your whole fucking goal.
And I'm not just gonna let one mean person take that away. But, even though I'm still pretty scared, I'm sorta workshopping this new plan.
Okay.
I wanted to be super popular and have everyone like me because I love people, and also it'd be a lot easier if I didn't have to doubt if people were my friends. But it's sorta unfair to just leave it at that, you know? Everyone should be allowed to have that security.
So what? You're fucking solving world peace?
That'd be nice. But I mean, I just want to start at our class. I want to help everyone get that security.
That's really sweet, Fumi, but I would have actually guessed being in our industry would make you more fucking aware of how people act. You can't make everyone like each other, and you definitely can't make 13 people like each other.
Well, maybe just tolerate each other then. Everyone can have just a bit of that security.
I'm not tolerating Yuri.
You don't have to. Not until she tolerates you. I'm gonna try be her friend again, and once she's feeling secure, I bet she'll start being nicer to you. I got the feeling that Zero didn't entirely 100% agree, but she said she wouldn't stop me from doing whatever I wanted to try do. Then our conversation derailed a bit as we reflected on last night. I don't think the cool morning, pressed up against the rails, really helped us either. So I invited her inside. We heard the bell go as we were still kissing. I wasn't entirely sure if Zero would want to continue, but she just shrugged and we let it happen. We cuddled for a little while after, but of course she pulled out the fitness routine and I powered through that. Once we were both worn out, she said she didn't want to go just yet.
Have you actually been studying?
Not really.
Guess what we're doing?
No.
At 1 p.m. she left to catch the last 2 classes. I showered, played and game and read a manga volume to decompress before work. I have a lot of mixed feelings on my way in today. I try not to be ashamed of my work. I know factually there's nothing wrong with the way I'm doing it, but now that I'm committing to re-befriending Junko, it feels worse. Last night was such a blur. I think I showered, some of my food's missing, I can't really figure out if I came home, fell asleep, woke up and fell asleep again, or showered and ate then slept. I still felt a little disorientated, so after breakfast I got on a game for an hour, long enough to let some aches and pains set in, so I dedicated another hour to stretching those out, before flicking through some mangas and being right back out to work. Coming home I definitely wasn't as tired as yesterday. I must have overdone it with Zero. I gave myself a cold shower before logging into my games, and later in the night I tried to watch an anime but was just too tired. After waking up and getting ready for work, I tried to pass the time by playing an online game, but I must have not been awake enough because I couldn't keep up with any of the real-time conversations. I switched to a single-player game, but then just felt bad, I guess. I pulled up some of the videos I had used to work out before with Zero and tried my best to copy them until I had to go. Zero wasn't at work today, so I was with another girl. Our shifts ended at the same time, and when we were washing up she gave me 2 bottles and said I wouldn't be able to get it anywhere else. I had a plan for the afternoon and tried to invite her, but she doesn't hang out with coworkers. So my afternoon plan was just for me. Instead of going home I got some yakisoba pan and went down to that secret little bench. It was still as if not more beautiful than last time, now seeing it in all the pretty sunset colors. I ate my dinner while drinking the gift from my coworker, Anne. I may have gotten a little distracted, maybe a bit passive with it. Thinking about going to school tomorrow, committing to it, knowing I didn't even want to enroll here. I have my career, my first rent payment is even coming up soon and I have no doubt that I'll be able to pay it, but people at home, my family, who are supposed to trust me and haven't even called. It got me a bit out of sorts. I reminded myself I have a girlfriend and stumbled my way off the bench, pushing past the little fence, and the rest is just as blotchy blurs. I think I mostly just stumbled around town, since as much as Zero's visited me, I've never visited her. I don't think I talked to anyone, I definitely didn't buy anything, unless I stole. I don't think I found her, and I also don't think I could find my way home, because I woke up at midnight, sweaty and barely awake, but sobering up at the bench by the water. It wasn't a safe thing to do at all, but but in my state I couldn't really be panicked. I just got myself home safe and sound, threw off my clothes, had a shower and went to bed, just to wake up in 4 hours. Waking up on Monday, I guess I felt rested enough. I ate my breakfast and started trying to make some sort of plan for re-befriending Junko, when I got a message from Zero saying she's outside. We walked to school together and she took me around the side entrance, where all the goats were still in their little house. I got so excited that I tripped over Zero, which she took fine. I gave the goats some pats and fed them some of the food they already had in there. Once I got off the floor, me and Zero kissed, and that kind of cemented to me that today would be a good day. I did need to get food though, and Zero said she'd wait at the goat pen for me, so I quickly skated off, grabbed a lunch for myself and dropped some other groceries inside my door before speeding back. Kay was also waiting for me with Zero. I asked if he had seen the goats, but apparently they already moved on when he came over. We joked and talked about music for a while, then Zero started to bring up my plan on dealing with Junko when Kay leaned in and kissed Zero. I was pretty shocked, but Zero took it well enough I think. She just put her hand up and said she doesn't feel the same and he shouldn't try kissing her. Kay tried to smooth past it by telling Zero to continue about my plan. Kay doesn't like Junko either, but said he'd let me do my thing. We stayed outside together until class time. No one else used that side entrance, so I didn't get to ask anyone else's opinions on Junko or my plan. After Japanese, I started saying hello to everyone who was wondering about where I'd been. Then behind me I heard Kay yell about being pickpocketed, and before I knew it Junko was shoving both me and Kay around. Quyen grabbed Kay and made him leave the class, but Junko followed, so I did too. They stopped in the gym where Junko started hurting Quyen, and Bunko and Hiroyuki just stood around while I tried intervening. I kept telling myself in my head that it's still worth it to try. I just needed to wait for everything to calm down to start talking. And it did, for a little bit when Aya came over. So with my little group while I was explaining my week away, I kept complaining about tradition, which I know Junko loves to do. But she kept looming behind Kay and he got sick of it, shoving her away. The bell chimed anyway, so my new strategy was sticking to the back and talking at Junko. I didn't get much of a response since she was still focused on Kay. I went back downstairs and got myself some water, taking some time to calm down and try not to reconsider this whole plan. Then I went up to class. Have you seen those mandatory Ikebana classes schools are starting?
Do you even know how unpleasant you are, Shozo? Beat it.
Don't shove her.
Hey. Kay, it's fine.
I've heard about those classes.
Me, Junko, Kay and Ren stood at the front of the class and started to have a sorta calm conversation. I ignored her insults of the people I love and kept trying to rehash things I knew she'd agree with. I started actually getting results once I complimented Ren though.
We should get Zero to come join us.
Ugh, really?
We're having a good conversation already.
If you say so.
Then somehow he took that as a reason to kiss me while shoving Junko away, and into a friggin' wall. Of course Junko started fighting back, which in this instance I do understand. I still tried to break it up, but eventually I just had to leave. I sat in the change rooms by myself to eat my lunch, and again tried to clear my head. I'm absolutely started to make progress with her now, I can see it. The issue is just navigating her relationships with everyone else. Junko spent PE specifically trying to get in Tetsui's way, so once I got a chance myself I went over to try sort that situation out. They were being sort of cordial, but as soon as the teacher left things got even worse. In the end I couldn't do anything, neither of them were backing down, and as the next bell when it was just me and Osamu left in the gym, I thought I could decompress with him and maybe get his help on my plan, but the gym teacher came back and hustled us along. School ended and I ran over to Junko's desk before any fights could break out. So tell me about Ren.
Like you haven't met.
Well, I haven't met them through your eyes obviously.
It is not that obvious, haha.
I successfully got her to start gushing about the things she likes. We were officially being friendly. There were a few uncomfortable detours, but overall the afternoon actually went well. She even told me who all her friends were, which'll make helping her get at least semi-popular a breeze. Honestly, she already seems to have a good core group. It's just everyone who isn't her friend she fights with. At 5:30 I left the school and set off home. Getting back I found Aya at my door. Oh. Hi.
Hi, Fumi. Tell me about your week away.
Didn't I already do that in the gym?
Give me more details.
So I sighed as we stood outside on the balcony and I debriefed all my worries about going to school, how I know I do things in private Junko hates, but I don't think she knows about, my initial goal to have a bunch of friends, and now my new goal to befriend Junko and make her at least a little more popular.
I can help you with that.
We talked for a long time, eventually having to go inside because it was getting dark. I know Aya would also be disgusted in me if she knew my job. She's brought it up before, but luckily our plan didn't need to involve talking about any of that and I could just pretend it wasn't an issue. I went to sleep feeling a lot better about everything. Tuesday morning I ate my breakfast and watched some gaming videos, until I got a message from Aya saying to come outside and rehash the plan. I didn't respond back to her, instead I just got up and opened the door. Neither of us processed what was going on and fell into each other. We laughed it off and like she said we would, we went over the plan. We got a bit distracted talking about manga for a bit, so we had to do half of our conversation while walking to school to not be late. One of the obvious strategies was to talk to all Junko's friends, so before class started I tracked down Hiroyuki in the gym and told him all about the plan. He was really happy since that fit into his no rumor mentality he told me about, which he was still apparently upholding. Bunko ran over and gave me a hug good morning, then scowled at Hiroyuki before running off. I sorta just laughed and looked at him questioningly but he just shrugged and smiled. On our way to English I tried convincing Kei to just avoid Junko today, even if she starts something he can just walk away.
Fumi, I'm not just gonna walk away if she takes something from me.
Good point. Once the bell rung the English classroom slowly started turning into a fighting match. Junko was being a bit disruptive during class, so when I got the chance I went and talked to them. He kept saying that Quyen and Tetsui were bothering her and I suggested it just leave them be, which worked for a while, but she nudged me away and picked a fight with them both anyway. Then Osamu was also shoving Quyen. A teacher came in which calmed the situation down a bit and I started being able to speak. I tried to talk about anything positive I could think of relating to Junko, which Hiroyuki helped with, but I could see Emika and especially Tetsui didn't want to hear it. While we all walked to home EC, I was doing a sort of preacher thing, by standing in the group of everyone and yelling about how much I appreciate Junko. I don't really know if that was effective at all. Break started and I saw Junko walk over to Pirako, which Zero had succeeded in her plan of making him more comfortable. Oh my gosh, what was that? Out of the corner of my eye I saw Kei and Quyen kiss. Yes, they absolutely did. That's awesome, that actually warms my heart so much. I left them to it as Aya joined our conversation. As I was saying, I've heard a lot of people talking about Pirako and I think while I was gone he's actually gotten a lot of good popularity, and he's already a fan of Junko. I tried talking up Kei a little bit, but Junko didn't have much to say, and I wasn't going to push him too much on anything that made him uncomfortable. So I brought up Ren instead, and we all giggled about how obvious it was that Junko likes them. Aya already knew, Pirako didn't.
Oh, so that's why you've been acting like that around them.
I'm not acting like anything.
Unfortunately, when the bell went, Zero was trying to get through the door and Junko blocked her way, then shoved her so she could go out first. Junko lingered around, so I held Zero back a bit and Junko ran away giggling and yelling Zero was gonna touch them. It was really immature.
That's who you actually want me to be fucking cordial with?
After film studies, me, Junko, and Pirako all continued our conversation without changing too much, still just building that rapport. Though when the bell went, Kei took the liberty of shoving Junko for no reason. While we walked I tried to assure Junko that Kei is a good person. Well, actually I did it kind of patronizingly. I used the foreigner card and said he just doesn't understand being in a different country.
That's no excuse for being a fucking dickhead.
In the afternoon I hung around the door with Emika, Hiroyuki and Junko. We started complaining about the reading material when Bunko came over to scowl at Hiroyuki and grumble about pickpockets, which Junko didn't acknowledge. Eventually she insulted Zero, and a bit worn out from all my efforts today I snapped back with how much I care about her. Junko just rolled their eyes and left once he spotted Kei leaving. So I spent a bit of time talking to Emika and Bunko. They filled me in on their perspective of my week away and I told them a little bit about my plan. They gave each other a look, which I wasn't sure what that meant, but it was 3:30 so I was off to relax at home. Going through the front doors I saw Kei and Junko. I decided to linger around because their conversation seemed a little tense and disjointed. Lo and behold, Junko started to push Kei around. Leave him alone, Junko, come on. He doesn't know what he's doing, you're better than this.
Yeah, I'm better than your whorefuck buddy Itona, aren't I?
Stop bringing her up. We aren't talking about her.
We better not be.
She started to walk away, so I called out a compliment to her. Her flicked their drills and called me a suck-up. I wasn't gonna let 2 hard days' work go to waste, so I stopped her in the road. She got right up into my face and started insulting me, saying she knows what my game is. I insisted there was no game, that we were friends, that there's nothing 2 weeks could have done to make things go so badly, and to prove it, we stood there for an hour, head to head, while everyone went home. I went through the insults, the silences, the backhanded comments about curtains on windows, the mentions of smells from statues in the heat, ghosts wandering at night, have to make up nice friggin' bull about them and hope it amounts to something, to finally get a
Fine, but not everyone's had such a nice background as you. You can't expect your kindness to be taken so easily.
Great, I'm gonna go make a smoothie at home, you want one?
Sure.
Junko followed me to my steps, but once I started to go up, they said she didn't want one anymore and was just gonna go home. Which was weird. But it let me decompress from the stressful day on my games. Wednesday is Showa Day, not a holiday I normally actively celebrate, but I was definitely happily taking the day off it gave. I started off by watching a few episodes of anime, then switched to my online games to get any of the daily rewards I needed to pick up, before spending a few hours on some single-player games. Feeling a lot less stressed, I left my room to go on a midday walk, maybe to the shops or the nice bench spot, and I saw Kay was already outside. Good morning.
Hi, sorry I just got off the phone with Pirako. Was I being too loud?
No, I didn't hear you at all. We started off talking about the anime I had watched this morning, and once he was comfortable I asked about Quyen and he got all embarrassed. Apparently, they aren't official just yet, but I think he's just a little embarrassed from trying to get with me. I apologized to him about what I said to Junko, the whole calling him an ignorant foreigner. He forgave me but still wasn't that interested in my plan, so I just focused on how confident he's gotten since the beginning of school. We kept going on about our interests for like an hour, just ping-ponging between all the things we have in common, when we heard someone come up the steps and call out.
You sloppy bitch.
Huh?
You think having a private account is gonna stop me from reading the shit you say?
Junko came over and shoved Kay and I got in the middle trying to de-escalate. I kept saying Kay doesn't know what they're doing, but Junko told me not to patronize her, and pretty obviously that friendship I had rebuilt just yesterday was all gone. She started to yell right in me and Kay's faces. We weren't cornered, out rooms were right there, but no one wanted to back down first. I started to talk about anything else, just ignoring her insults once it had gone on for too long.
Shozo, is it true you've given teachers sexual favors for grades?
Excuse me?
Yeah, isn't that what sluts like you do? Why else would you feel like you could take a week off?
Because I don't care about school and I was hiding from you.
Clocking in more hours at Soapland, right? Or were you preparing for a night on Zero's dick?
Don't listen to them, Fumi. She doesn't know what it's talking about.
Oh, and I thought you were one of her star customers. Why else would I find you up here together, you freaks?
I have absolutely no idea how she found out about my job, or I guess more specifically when. Surely she didn't come over right after finding out, and would she really have been keeping that secret while I tried befriending her? After some more pushback, me and Kay started to list off all the things we like about each other and Zero in great detail, just to piss Junko off. But she still stayed around, and so eventually Kay shoved her. We all got into a quick but painful fight. Kay shut us both out. She looked a little confused what to do and I started to tease her. He slapped me across the face and we got into a shouting match again. She kept telling me to die, to wind up missing, even bringing up statistics of sex workers going missing. I tried not to dwell on the girls that never came back to work, hoping they just moved on to something else. I called Junko a lot of things in return and eventually convinced myself how not worth it any of this was, and slammed my door on her face. Tomorrow, I will make her hated, since she wants innocent people hated so bad. I stretched the pain out, then for hours after I trained. It's a bit of a dramatic way to put it, but with how much Junko pushes, I couldn't let her push me down. I even invited Zero over. I told her my new plan and she was totally on board. She showed me better ways to train and we were up until 2 a.m., until I crashed in bed. After eating I instantly went outside to wait for Kay. I was really hoping he'd come out at all, but knew I'd have to wait anyway since he's never the earliest. And as soon as his door opened I ran over apologizing and asking if he was okay. He's a little bruised, but nothing worse than that, so I told him my new plan. He was instantly on board as I thought, but he seemed a little upset that I had tried being nice to Junko to start it all. Once we were all set to go we went downstairs only to find Junko standing in the road, on her phone faced away from her building. Me and Kay exchanged looks and I skated off, waiting for him at the bottom of the hill. He didn't come down, but I also didn't hear any confrontation so I let him do his own thing and went through the gates. The first person I saw was Tetsui, which even though he's had less issues with Junko, he still doesn't like her and wasn't upset at all about my plan. He actually kept complimenting me which I thanked him for, but glazed by as we went off to the gym to spread the word. We might have found the two worst people for this next though, Hiroyuki and Pirako. I still tried to tell them how horrible she was on show a day though.
Listen, Fumi, I don't want to hear any rumors, especially not from you. You know I have your back.
Yeah, just leave Junko alone. People say bad enough stuff about them.
Why is that directed at me?
That pretty much shut me down and I tried to smooth it over with a normal conversation, slipping in a, but Junko doesn't like that too, but they both glared at me and it obviously wasn't as slick as I wanted it to be. A lot happened once PE ended. I went to the back to talk to Daichi, Quyen, and Tetsui, then Zero and Kay quickly came over. Tetsui tried bringing up some dead person. I piped up to push my plan but Zero kissed me. I of course kissed her back and heard Tetsui mumbling about finding someone better. Before walking off, Zero did too and started yelling at Junko, and Quyen and Kay were making out beside me. I paused for a little while to just take those quick events in, and decided on pushing my plan. Quyen and Daichi were both on board pretty quickly. That's already 5 people out 13. Daichi left to spectate the fight. I stayed back with the two lovebirds for a bit before going over just so Junko can see my face, completely unbruised. Admittedly my clothes were covering the damage, but she didn't know that. Going upstairs to the next class I heard her gushing to one of his friends about Ron, who just so happened to be at the back of the line, so I walked beside him and asked their opinion on Junko.
I just don't really know them at all.
I really did my best to contain my excitement about that. Her crush is completely one-sided. Now Junko does deserve love. I don't feel happier that she's not getting it right now. During break I tried to bring Emika in on the plan with Zero's help, and even though Emika said she was neutral we still have Hiroyuki and Aya on either sides of us gassing Junko up. I tried to tell them to let her make her own opinion, but when they didn't want to I just started flirting with Zero, trying to show how better and more accepting we are. I mean, Emika did find it cute. I heard Pirako say he liked spending time with me and that set Junko right off. They were yelling how I was a backstabber and enabler, so Zero walked right over and shoved it. A fight broke out and I got involved too, but I kept getting shoved pretty far and there was a lot of desks and people around. I wasn't bleeding or badly hurt, just so overwhelmed that I felt like shutting my eyes and pretending it wasn't happening. I felt like I must have, because next thing I knew I was in an empty classroom face to face with Junko. Couldn't you just try being less mean?
No, Shozo, because all your friends are fucking tools. Mitsuharu is a dumb as bricks egotistical slob.
At least she wants to learn.
Vaughn is a loser freak that stalks people on alt accounts and thinks it's funny to tell their partner they're Angie with them in a stupid baby voice.
He's had a hard life before here. They're going through a lot.
That snot-nosed fetishist Nitta is just here to mooch off everyone.
He isn't. And he isn't a fetishist.
He doesn't think trans men are men. Didn't that fucking get back to you? Little miss needs everyone's undivided attention. He told Pirako to his fucking face that he's still a female.
I don't believe you, Junko. You just hate me and you're making shit up, so I'll stop having friends.
Call me Yuri if you aren't going to listen when I say the fucking truth.
I'll call you an occult freak is what I'll call you. I slammed the door on my way out and I heard a teacher call out to me not to do that. I couldn't unslam the door so I ignored her and ran to class, needing something else in my mind so what she said wouldn't take root in my head. Junko came to class, something I dreaded but I should have guessed. As soon as he got up Kate shoved them away from me. I thought about loitering but decided it was best to just be out of there. I went to the gym and pulled up training videos on my phone. If I was going to stand up to Junko more, I needed to get better at holding my own. No one bothered me during passing period and when the bell went I caught Ren at the end of the line again. Junko thinks she has dirt on everyone. I could barely pay attention during home EC, I was basically just waiting to get out and back to the gym until I felt like I had done good enough, which didn't come before the exhaustion. I couldn't push myself all the way in here, so after only 20 minutes I dragged myself home, a workout in itself. I read manga on the floor and after a few volumes, got into the shower just in time. Once I was ready for bed my eyes were already closing. Waking up to my alarm of Friday, I was feeling just a bit better, still dealing with the fear of going to school and getting really hurt, but I really stood up to Junko yesterday. I watched some YouTube videos until Kei messaged me to come outside. Good morning.
Morning, Fumi. Are you okay? Junko's been posting a lot of nasty shit about you.
About?
It's private, don't worry.
Worrying a little now, I guess I'm okay.
Cool. So Gwen and I.
Yes.
Do you think Junko will try sabotage that?
I paused for a bit before saying I didn't know, because from what I do know she hasn't been the sabotage-y kind of person, they're just straight up mean. Kei had some doubts about fully officiating the relationship, which I was surprised they were official already. I told him they shouldn't let Junko stop them, and as long as they have open communication between them they'll be fine. He liked that enough and we skated to school together before it got to 8. I met up with Emika inside and after some polite complaining about less important things, I got onto the topic of Junko, which she was still holding neutral to.
It's not like Emika wants Junko to die.
No. No. Of course not, I don't either, but we can acknowledge how badly she acts, right? Then she changed the topic to Zero and I started to gush about her a little, which like a spell she walked in through the door. Emika offered us some coins as a dirty joke I guess, it was just in poor taste because of the neutral Junko situation, but we all hung out until it was time for class. Oop, hi Kei, just getting pasted,
Don't scowl, it was your fault for looking at me like that.
Gwen was just right there, geez. Which she was, but she was now talking to my girlfriend, and me and Kei are at the back of the class still. I didn't make him think the kiss was a pleasant surprise or anything and started on a tirade about Junko, realizing halfway that she actually wasn't in class yet. So I went over to Daichi and Osamu to get their opinions on the situation. They're both closer to Junko than I thought and didn't take any snide comments towards her. Then Osamu brought up the statue thing and I just had to walk away. During break I wanted to try sway Ren's opinion on Junko since he doesn't know much about them, but when I brought Junko up, they said I wasn't perfect either. I don't know what happened between now and our last conversation to change its mind so drastically, but the area was being a bit crowded so I couldn't really ask. I watched Kei and Gwen kiss, which sort of made me feel bad. I have to assure they aren't fully official, they can't have had that conversation yet, but Gwen seems a lot more into it than Kei. I went back over and kissed Zero, trying to take her away from the group, but everyone was jumping to talk to me, which was fine because it was mostly calm with Junko not being around. Kei seemed to be having a bit of an issue with Hiroyuki, but I think that was just from everyone standing a bit too close together. Once the bell when I stayed behind with Ren for a few minutes, I didn't want to overstep by bringing up Junko again, but I did want to check what he thought about Zero, which they're perfectly fine. Which is good, Junko hasn't tried pushing that on it. Or Ren might be accepting of sex workers. I didn't want to chance that either at the moment though. During the next passing period I decided to sort of confront Hiroyuki. Hi, I was just wondering if there are any rumors going about?
None that I know of.
Really? I feel like there might be.
What VE you heard? Because what I've been hearing has been true things other people just disagree with or don't like hearing about themselves.
There's things that should be kept private.
I'm just saying it's not rumors if it's true.
I gave him a tense smile and ended the conversation there. He obviously thought he was already right, and I probably couldn't change that. At least he isn't the one going around yelling about any friggin' little controversial trait. Once school ended, me and Zero hugged and gave each other a kiss as everyone funneled past us.
To an actually fucking normal day at school.
Oh my god, are you cheating on me?
No, Gwen, he's not. He's just severely misread the room.
Oh, Gwen, come here. Gwen hugged my arm and put her head down on my shoulder. I quietly consoled her, but Kei kissing Tetsui was just not brought back up, so we all kept going with our conversations. Gwen eventually started feeling a little better, especially when it came to trying to convince Emika to be a little less neutral on the Junko situation, as we all went around saying all the horrible things Junko said to us or how violent they've been. During the conversation I gave Zero a kiss, and as I was pulling back I felt Kei kiss me on the cheek. I gave him a look and moved around to the other side of Zero, who he started to compliment. Overall, Kei's gotten a lot more confident, that's for sure, but he's also started acting a lot more weird and sorta cocky. After an hour he even tried to kiss Quyen, who pulled back saying he wasn't getting another chance. That's when everyone sort of decided we should all start heading home. I pulled Zero back a bit because I wanted to suggest we should be going home together, which of course that takes a few steps to get to. And before I knew it, me, Zero and Kei were all in one of the bathrooms. I've never seen anyone use kissing and getting a bit handsy. No one had any clothes off and I'm not even sure it was heading that way, but suddenly Zero got mad at me saying we were done.
We're all done.
Wait, Zero what? Then she slapped me across the face, so I left. I didn't say anything and I went home, having no idea what went wrong for things to go so badly. I just laid on the floor of my apartment for about 30 minutes before getting into my cover clothes and clocking into a late shift at work, like I have to do on Friday nights. Zero wasn't there. I came home exhausted, I miserably ate, showered in a too-hot shower and fell into bed. Saturday, what did I do? I ate my second last onigiri, then laid on my floor, because somehow laying in my bed made me feel more gross than that. I just waited until Soapland opened and clocked in for my shift. After I was done I found a bottle in my bag, no one else was around to thank. I came home, ate the last thing in my apartment, then sat on my phone scrolling until it was too late to go buy food, so I just showered and went to bed so tomorrow would come faster. I woke up hungry but I still laid around for an hour. Apparently today was a holiday so I had to search up if the shops are open. I quickly found out that they were but got distracted by a game. At 9 I went and got groceries, but now that I was outside, and noticed that bottle was still in my bag, I didn't want to go home straight away, so I went down to my secret spot. It was a nice spot to relax, no one at all's been messaging me. I don't actually think many people sent me a message to confirm my number when I first gave it to them. I refrained from messaging my mom asking if she wanted to check on me, that'd be mean, everyone's just busy. Zero was probably stressed even though there's been no word of Junko. Kei would know though, he stalks her private. Of course it'd be Kei. I must have sat there in a haze all day. I wasn't drunk the whole time, I just completely lost track of being in my head. I even missed my shift for probably the first time ever. I took myself home at midnight and showered. I've gotta be up in 6 hours, and I need a better plan of dealing with Junko.
Kissing Kei was a misclick and I'm absolutely devastated by it. But I don't redo days, especially not at the very end, so I guess this is the story now. I was even going to change Fumi's sexuality to just trans women at the start of Friday so her romance would dissipate for everyone else and I so should have, UGH. I hope at least someone is thrilled by all this drama. This time I won't say maybe to another video, the challenge isn't done, everyone but Junko has over 100 reputation, we still have to get that achievement, so I will see you again, stay safe, stay happy. Please subscribe for Daigaku Gurashi 2026, tell people to buy it and play it, bye.